Fight fans, mark your calendars because on October 19th, 2025, we have an absolutely thrilling showdown coming up in the UFC Bantamweight division. Marlon Chito Vera versus Aiemann Zahabi. Two skilled, battle-hardened fighters with completely different approaches to combat will collide inside the Octagon. And this one has all the ingredients to be a technical war with fireworks from start to finish. Let's break this down in detail. Their strengths, weaknesses, fighting styles, and what we can expect when they finally face off. Starting with the man who needs no introduction, Marlon Vera. Born in Ecuador, Vera has become one of the most entertaining and fearless fighters in the UFC. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a 70.5-inch reach, Vera combines size, range, and ferocity in a way that makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone in the bantamweight division. He's got over 30 professional fights, and he's faced some of the best names in the game, from Sean O'Malley to Dominic Cruz, Frankie Edgar, and Pedro Munhoz. Vera's fight record shows how complete his skill set really is. Out of his victories, 8 have come by knockout and 10 by submission, making him a true finisher. Whether it's on the feet or on the mat, Chito is dangerous everywhere. His striking is rooted in Muay Thai, where he uses heavy leg kicks, elbows, and unpredictable combinations to break down opponents. You'll often see him throw those nasty front kicks to the body or head, just like the one that knocked out Frankie Edgar in one of the most memorable finishes of his career. But it's not just his striking. Vera is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which means if the fight hits the ground, he can end it there too. He's got slick transitions, heavy ground and pound, and a calm, calculated demeanor even when he's bleeding. He doesn't panic, doesn't rush. He just waits for his moment and then strikes with surgical precision. However, like every fighter, Vera has weaknesses too. His biggest issue has often been slow starts. He tends to take the first round to read his opponent, and sometimes that costs him in the scorecards. Against high-output strikers, that can be risky. But once he settles in, his pace and confidence skyrocket. His ability to absorb punishment and keep pushing forward makes him one of the most durable fighters in the division. Now, let's move to his opponent, Aiemann Zahabi, the pride of Canada, and the younger brother of the legendary coach Firas Zahabi, the mind behind Georges St-Pierre's legendary career. Aiemann trains at the world-famous TriStar Gym in Montreal, a place known for creating technical, intelligent, and disciplined fighters. And Zahabi is no exception. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall with a 68-inch reach, Zahabi is slightly smaller in both height and reach compared to Vera, but what he lacks in physical size, he makes up for in sharp technique and fight IQ. His boxing fundamentals are excellent. His jab is crisp. His counters are precise and his footwork is smooth. He doesn't rush in. Instead, he picks his moments carefully. Zahabi's professional record sits around 10 wins with only a couple of losses, which shows how consistent he's been since entering the UFC. Out of his victories, 6 have come by knockout, showing that he carries real knockout power in those hands. His striking is clean, tight, and efficient. No wasted movements, no wild swings. He's a fighter who relies on timing, distance control, and accuracy rather than brute force. But the most underrated part of Zahabi's game is his defensive awareness. He rarely gets caught clean, and he uses his movement and head positioning to avoid unnecessary damage. This disciplined approach can frustrate opponents who are used to wild exchanges. However, Zahabi's biggest challenge is that he sometimes plays it too safe. In fights where aggression and output matter, he can lose rounds by not pushing the pace enough. Against someone like Marlon Vera, who thrives in chaos, that could become a serious problem. Now let's look at how their styles match up. We're essentially looking at a clash between controlled technique and calculated aggression. Marlon Vera loves to pressure, cut off the cage, and throw combinations from awkward angles. He uses his kicks to disrupt rhythm and force his opponent into mistakes. Once he smells blood, he goes all in. Zahabi, in contrast, wants to slow things down, use his jab to maintain distance, and rely on counters. He's the type of fighter who wants to win with intelligence rather than intensity. The question is, can Zahabi keep Vera off him for 3 rounds? That's going to be tough. Vera has proven that he can walk through fire to land his own shots. Even if Zahabi wins the first round with clean boxing, Vera's relentless pressure could start to take over as the fight progresses. Let's also talk about durability and conditioning, two critical factors in this matchup. Marlon Vera is one of the toughest fighters in the bantamweight division. He's been in wars, taken heavy shots, and never once backed down. His cardio is elite, allowing him to keep a steady pace all fight long. Zahabi's conditioning is solid too, thanks to his tri-star training regimen, but he hasn't been tested in long. Brutal fights the same way Vera has. Statistically, Vera lands more significant strikes per minute and absorbs more as well, meaning he's always in action. Zahabi, on the other hand, lands fewer but with greater accuracy. Vera's aggression makes him exciting, but also leaves openings for counters, which Zahabi could capitalize on if he stays composed. In terms of grappling, Vera again has a slight edge because of his submissions and top control. Zahabi can defend takedowns well, but he's not known for offensive grappling. If the fight hits the mat, Vera's experience could come into play big time. So what should we expect on October 19? In the first round, Zahabi will likely try to keep his distance, use his jab and frustrate Vera. But as the fight goes on, Vera will start landing those heavy kicks, forcing Zahabi to back up. The momentum will shift as Vera's volume and pressure start to wear Zahabi down. The key for Aiemann will be maintaining composure and landing clean counters before Vera gets too close. If Zahabi can maintain his range and stick to a disciplined game plan, he has a real chance of taking a decision victory. But if Vera manages to close the distance, control the pace, and drag